Comptroller Peter Franchot received more votes in the last election than any other politician in either party in the history of our state. But he continues to butt heads with the Democrats.
Yeah, that's right. A proposed law is aiming to take away Franchot's power to regulate alcohol sales and taxation in the state. Gotta wonder, is this retribution for his, or was it unnecessary? WMAR 2 News' Don Harrison takes a look.
Accurate prediction.
Peter Franchot is our comptroller. His office collects and documents our state taxes. His office also enforces beer, liquor, cigarette taxes, and fraudulent tax preparers. This division is made up largely of law enforcement officers who frequently arrest suspects with ties to organized crime or terrorist watch lists. But a proposed law in the General Assembly wants to change who oversees the enforcement division.
But these handful of political bosses don't like me. Because I'm an advocate for craft brewers, they want to curry favor with the big beer companies.
In the past, Franchot has had public arguments with Speaker of the House Mike Bush, and particularly with President of the Senate Mike Miller. President Miller has criticized Franchot as well.
We should have an outside comptroller take over the position of comptroller because he obviously is doing a terrible job doing what he's doing at the present time.
Franchot says legislative leaders and some law enforcement have shut out smaller craft breweries to keep big beer companies a large share of the market. Now a bill has passed the House and Senate that would split up the responsibilities currently under the comptroller's control.
And at the same time, a handful of political bosses are trying to disassemble my agency, cost the taxpayers $50 million by taking the enforcement division away from me and giving it to some nameless commission.
As well enforcing tax laws, the proposed law wants the division to deal with health issues related to alcohol, something currently under the Department of Health's jurisdiction.
Focus of putting public health concerns around alcohol. We don't do a lot of that in our committee.
Delegate Warren Miller is the sponsor of the bill.
This new office we're creating needs to be a clearinghouse for health-related information around alcohol.
The enforcement division has about 70 people.
We would take those employees and they would physically move under a new independent commission, much like the Lottery Commission or the Stadium Authority.
The Comptroller's office says this would cost $50 million over 5 years. The Bureau of Revenue Estimates puts it closer to a $7 million impact over 5 years, but they say many aspects can't be determined yet. The enforcement group has been together since the days of Prohibition. Some feel this is purely political and retribution against an outspoken Franchot.
Absolutely not.
Todd Eberly is an associate professor for political science at St. Mary's College in southern Maryland. Are these measures making Maryland and Marylanders better?
It's hard to see how this makes things better. There's no indication that the Field Enforcement Division hasn't been doing an exemplary job as it's currently structured. So to take it out of the comptroller's office, to have the transition period where it goes into the governance of this new commission, I think you've got at least the possibility there, at least during the transition, that things won't go smoothly. The
legislature is trying to pass a $1 billion education bill and has stated they don't know where they are going to find all the money for that bill.
So even $5 million on something like this, I think the question needs to be asked, is this the best use of our resources at this time?
The legislature has introduced more than 100 bills to take power away from me. This is now trying to take power away from the comptroller. Even though he's in the same party, they don't like the fact that he's working in a bipartisan way with us for the people of Maryland, and it's pure politics. There's no other reason for it, but we're going to take a look at that next week.
So will Franchot quiet down now?
The only thing silent about Franchot is the T at the end of my name. I'm going to continue to speak out.
The governor has the bill on his desk now and has till Wednesday to react to it. If the legislature would like to override a veto, they need a supermajority. That's a 60% vote. In Annapolis, Don Harrison, WMAR 2 News.